Okay. Um, last week we kind of came together for the first time in a while and we talked through just like my vision for where our team is going, where I want to take my business and our team. And I was, open and vulnerable and just sharing, hey B, sharing just like even through the highs and the lows, just feeling God's presence and God's peace of like, just keep going, keep going. So last week was all about just kind of vision, the rising of jewels, my specific vision of having developed 10 level one independent jewel leaders. So that was all last week of the vision. This week, it's all about how? Now, here's what I can guarantee you is going to happen. I can guarantee you that we are not going to come up at the end of this 30 minutes or, however long this is, with this beautiful, bright, shining, brand new system of how we're going to start this amazing business and know exactly what to do. Like I can guarantee you that it's not going to be like super, super clear. Oh, hi. This is fun that Shayla's here. Um, but what I do think we're going to have happen tonight is I think that we're going to dust some of the cobwebs off. I think that we are going to get into really good brainstorming discussion. I think we're going to have some really great ideas. And I think and I hope that we're going to walk away with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more direction, a little bit more clarity, and a little bit more energy and excitement on what to do. So, what I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like a lot of us probably have felt over the past few years, and I'm looking at my notes. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing here. I think that a lot of us have probably felt over the past few years like, I want to build this, but I don't know how to build this. I had great success when I first started, or I signed, three or four people when I first started, and that was really fun. But now I don't know what to do. We might be doing the comparison situation where we might be seeing, like, okay, well, I see this team or I see this individual who is really growing, but she is an influencer. She is really bold. She has 12 kids, so she's got this crazy story that makes people want to come watch her. She is like super secure and confident and really outgoing. None of that's me. Like we might see people having success, but we see these like exterior things that we're not, and then that maybe makes us feel like, okay, well maybe that's the only way I can do it. Or something I've seen. I see these, diamonds who are having great success, but they're working 10 to 15 hours a day. I don't want to do that. So it may not even be a personality thing. It may be I see the work they're doing. I don't want to do that. So I think a lot of us have had those feelings in the past. So my hope here again is how we can like kind of figure out what the fundamentals, what the basics of an online network marketing company that's thriving is in this changing environment. Because what I think when we like boil down this business, I think the fundamentals are the same as what they were 10 years ago when people were booming, or 50 years ago when people were booming with network marketing. I think the fundamentals are the same. I do think the environment has changed a little bit. I think that there's a lot more noise out there right now. I think there are a lot more companies out there. I think there are a lot more influencers out there. I think there's a lot more affiliate marketing. I think there's a lot of things out there environmentally now that are different than they were 10 years ago. But again, I think the fundamentals for a successful network marketing company and business remain the same. So, what I want us to do first, yes, this is what I want to do next. I think the first thing I want us to do, and I've got my little whiteboard here, and this is going to be a little wonky how I'm going to try to do this, but I want us just like in a roundtable discussion, popcorn, I want you to think about network marketing and what you genuinely think, like the fundamentals of a network marketing business would be. So, for example, one of the most obvious is people. Like you've got to be talking to people for network marketing for business. And for customers and leaders, you have to be talking to people. So that would be a fundamental for network marketing. Be thinking here what others would be and shout them out, please.
I feel
I
like
think you have to like the products. You have to like the products yourself.
Yeah, perfect. So that would be, I would say, belief. Like you like them, so you have a belief in the products.
I was gonna say talk about them. Like you actually have to like talk about them, whether it's posting or when you're just having conversations with people. You've got to like actually say things about it.
Yeah. So we've got belief in the products. We've got sharing about the products slash opportunity. We're going to say both of those are interchangeable with the opportunity and the products and connecting with people. Okay. What are some more fundamentals of a network marketing business? Let's see. Casey said resilience and a strong sense of self. So, how would I word that? Um, resilience and strong sense of self, maybe like belief in yourself, belief that you can do it. Would you say that, Case? Would that be what you would agree with? Yes. Okay. Resilience and belief in oneself. Okay. What else? So I also like your sharing about the products. I would also say that's like marketing. Like you've got to be marketing, sharing. You've got to believe in them. You've got to be talking to people. You've got to be connecting with people.
I would say willing to work, like put in the work.
You know, when I first started, I remember my dad like really kind of poo-pooing me doing Plexus. Just coming from his generation where there was, network marketing coming from his generation of like pyramid schemes or whatever. And I remember him really not being pumped for me to do this. And I remember him just saying there are only a few who get to the top end. And in my journey to get to the top, I would see different articles online. I don't know if you guys have ever like seen stuff like that, and it can really deflate you easily. But I would see articles online or I'd see reviews and people would make comments about, how you know, you, how would they word it? Basically like it's really hard to get to the top. And I think what that is saying and what I've seen is people see this. They see, oh, here is an opportunity where you can make really good money. You can do it whenever and wherever you want. You don't have to have a boss. You just talk to people. And they think that they can do it, and they do it for about 0.2 seconds, and it gets hard, and then they quit, and then they have a bad taste in their mouth. But what you're saying there, Lacey, you've got to be willing to work. Like this is not the lottery. For anything, if you want to be a published author, if you want to be an Olympian athlete, like you've got to work towards those things. You can't just like manifest it to happen. You have to be willing to work. And I think that's also in conjunction to what Casey's saying there too. Personal growth, that's so great. Anything else that you would say is just kind of a foundation of network marketing running a successful business?
I think it kind of couples with the personal growth is when you're learning the products, when you are growing yourself, and that is just learning how to time manage and prioritize. And
Yeah.
maybe that's just me. That's what I
No,
think,
it's not.
struggling with the most
Yeah.
is where do I put that work into? Do I put it in funny reels? Do I put it in making Plexus posts? Do I put it in um, talking to people?
Hmm.
Just managing that, but also being a mom and being present
Yeah.
for all the other things that are important.
And hopefully, in our discussion tonight, again, you're not going to walk away with all the answers, but hopefully, in our discussion tonight, this will give a little more clarity on that because you for sure are not the only one. Because, I mean, this is like a pastor's job. We could work this business 24/7. Kim, I'm glad you're here. I didn't think you'd be able to be on. Glad you're here. We could work this job 24/7. And so that time management and the prioritizing, figuring out what needs to be done, what you can just let go of, what you can delegate, all of those are really, really important because with this business, with any business, you can immediately create burnout. Like, we're not made to work 24/7. Our bodies need rest, our souls need rest, our minds, our hearts, all of those things need rest. We cannot be going 24/7. That's not how the Lord created us. So that's very good. Okay, anything I've missed here? Non-negotiables. I love that, Casey. Giving grace and then having excitement. And I would say too, a foundation. So we've said connecting with people slash just relationships. I think that's important. That's we are not going to grow if we are not talking with people. I mean, that's point blank. So, um, relationships, liking the products, believing in the products, believing in the opportunities. So connecting, belief, sharing slash marketing, how we're sharing about the products, we're sharing about the opportunity that's foundational to this business. Having that resilience and that belief in yourself. And that kind of goes along with a few of these, the resilience, the belief in yourself, being willing to work, that personal growth. I think all of that goes together. And then that time management is also very important. And I was going to say passion because I think passion is really important. I think having a why, a reason why you're doing this, a passion and an excitement, I think that's really important because we always say like treat this like a business. Um, sometimes like business can be hard and sometimes it makes it where like you don't want to show up. But if you're like really excited about something and you really believe in something, just like Molly said, that belief, like if you have that passion, that excitement, that deep belief, that deep why, it's going to keep you going when it is really hard versus like, oh, I just am going to clock in, clock out, doing this little business thing. So I don't know what I'd say. Passion, belief, we'll say passion. Okay. So, if you want, I don't know if it's important to you, but you're welcome to take a little picture of that for your reminder of what the foundational, can you guys see it or is it backwards? It might be backwards, I don't know. Okay, good. Um, but this is really a great reminder of like, yeah, we've got a lot of things on here, but it's simple. It's relationships, it's belief in what you're doing, belief in yourself, and growth and sharing. Like it really, really is. And so, while we are in this environment, like we just talked about with the influencers, and maybe people have tried this in the past and they're wanting something maybe that's just easy that they can just clock in and out of, or you've got the noise. Like, how do we create this beautiful system, this beautiful foundational business that's growing right here, right now in 2026 within the environment that we have? So, anybody have any thoughts before we go on to the next little exercise? Okay. Everybody have Chat GPT? Give me a thumbs up if you have ChatGPT and if you've used it before. Okay. All right, great. So I've got a prompt that I want us to spend. Let's spend about like 7 to 10 minutes on it. I love this time. I think this time is really important for us to have this quiet time, kind of brainstorm, process, read through, think through for us specifically. So I'm going to put in the chat so you guys can copy it and paste it. I'll read it right now. But what I want you guys to do in ChatGPT is this is your prompt. My greatest strength in building this business is blank. You can put in what your greatest strengths are, and don't be shy. Like, share them. Like, I love people, I'm driven, I am authentic, I'm hardworking, whatever. Like, put in all the things that you believe are your greatest strengths in building this business. The part of the business that drains me the most is blank. And again, don't be shy. Share, like, be honest. No one can read this. So don't you even worry. Like, guys, I'm going to tell you, I put in there, like, it drains me to feel like I need to cold message people. Like, I don't want to cold message people. Like, you can be totally honest, right? And then the last part of this prompt is, what are ways I could lean into my strengths more this fall while growing a strong Plexus business? So I'll put it in the chat here for you guys to copy and paste and then play around with it. Read it. And if you guys want to, this has been helpful for me because sometimes chat can overwhelm me. Like, there can be so many great things that it shares that I'm like, more, more, more. And then I like lose what I was reading that really was inspiring to me. So if you're like me, go to like your Google Docs or something, or if you have Pages or whatever, whatever way you can just like copy and paste some of the things that really stand out to you. And you can like have different tabs on your Google Doc of like, you know, I don't know, this could be your tab here could be like, how can I build a simple, sustainable business? And then you can just like copy and paste what it shares with you. So that way you don't lose those things. Okay. All right, so I will go ahead and mute myself and then I'll put the chat over there or the prompt in the chat, and then we'll go for about 7 to 10 minutes and then share what we came up with. Sorry, I was trying to turn that timer off. Did that give you guys enough time, or do you need a little more time to dive through? Okay. I would love to hear some things that stood out to you. I put in the chat one of the things that stood out to me on mine was, oh good, you guys are sharing some things. Um well, I guess maybe I didn't put it on there. I thought I did. Okay, so Sarah said you don't have to, yeah, you don't have to convince people that you care. You just have to let your business be an extension of the way you already care about people. So good. And then Molly, your job doesn't have to be convincing people to buy Plexus products, but it can be noticing people, listening well, helping when I can, and introducing to something that may serve them. And I'm sure that feels so much better to you and so much more natural to you than the other ways. And then Shayla, am I saying your name right, Shayla? My greatest strength is building genuine relationships with new people. The part that drains me is staying visible and still new to this. So people who don't respond to me, ways I can lean more in this fall is share more about myself and create a simple, consistent weekly routine for posting and following up and connecting so it doesn't feel overwhelming. That's great. I love that. Okay. I'm gonna read Brooks and then I want to open it up. I don't want to be the one talking. I want to hear what you guys are what like really stood out to you. Brooks said your willingness to do hard and new things gives you a huge advantage there. Your fall mantra, sorry. I don't need to become a social media influencer. I need to become really good at loving people, starting conversations, following up, and helping people take their next step. So good. Um, I thought I had put it in the chat, but maybe I didn't. The one thing that stood out to me the most is it said your business grows when you're investing in people, not when you're trying to persuade people. And I think that was a great reminder for me and probably for all of us as we're like figuring out how to market and talk to people, is that we're not persuading them, we're trying to invest. Okay, anything else stand out to you guys? Something that kind of like felt fun. Carly, you're off. Are you at a place where you're able to read it? If not, I can read it out loud. I just don't want to be the one talking here. Okay, I'll share what she said. Carly said, your fall business mantra, connect, care, coach, celebrate, invite. You don't have to become a different kind of person to grow a strong business. You may simply need to build a business model that leans harder into who you already are. Your ability to love people is not a weakness. Your desire for people to succeed is not a weakness. Your ability to make genuine connections is not a weakness. These can be your competitive advantages. The goal this fall isn't to become better at convincing people, mine, same with the persuading people. It's to create more opportunities for the right people to experience your care. Ooh, I love that. Okay, anything stand out to you guys from this exercise that you would like to share?
I don't know if this hits anybody else, but I love the fact of how it's talking about like connect with the people, and then conversations will occur. Like when you see a need, then you can meet a need. Like, but just get in there and really focus on meeting them where they are. And like, so that's how I've always wanted to do. But about the time I'm like, okay, that's how I'm going to do things. I then get to where I'm like, oh no, I got to send cold messages. No, I've got to like, there's that part of me that's not the way we do it. That's not the way we're supposed to do it. I'm supposed to be sending all of these, 5 messages a day of da 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 da. And so like this last season, I've really, done a step back and done a lot of things. And so like putting it in there and having it like ChatGPT kind of like reword it and go like, no, like legit, this is viable. Like this is a viable way to go about doing your business. It's just so much it seems so much more doable long term
Yeah.
than spurts of digging deep and send as many messages as you can, because mathematically if you send 100 you'll get like, yes, that's true, but this is more manageable long term if you're thinking about your business in a long-term sense rather than a short-term goal, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And so like for me, I loved this because it affirmed my heart in that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like it helped reaffirm yet again Um, that's okay. That's an okay way. It might not be a fast way to build your business, but it might be a sustainable way to build your business. I don't know. So for me, that was really affirming and
Yeah.
helpful, especially school starting as a mom and teacher and all the things to know, like, again, it said consistency beats intensity.
Yes.
So consistently connecting with people on a daily basis in a real and authentic way beats being intense and just busting out as many messages as you can to whoever a day. And I don't know, that was really affirming for me.
And that intensity creates burnout. And if we know that one of the foundational, basis, one of the foundational, whatever, is connection and relationships, like that is really rich. People want to be poured into. People want to know that you care about them. People want to feel invested in. So I think that it's not yeah, like connection isn't a bad thing. No, I think connection's a great thing. I think connection is a very, very, very important thing that does create a sustainable business. Casey, do you want to say what you said or do you want me to read it out loud? I can read it if you want me to. Okay, I'll read it. She's got a baby. I've been working on similar brainstorming, workshopping with chat in the last 2 weeks of a very similar theme to what we're doing tonight. So chat went more in depth for me probably, but it gave me one word to hone in on for the next 3 months, starting in September, which I love that focus and clarity. Are you able to share what that word is? Also, isn't this fun? Like, we've got somebody in Texas, somebody in North Dakota, somebody in Arkansas and Texas. We've got Carly and Kim and I in Idaho. Shayla, where are you? Are you North Dakota? Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's so fun that we're able to be here connecting in this way. I love that. Okay, while Casey is writing out what her word is, um, one of the things, and Brooke, I think I might have us do this, what I told you tonight on Marco Polo. This is another chat prompt because I'm seeing like this theme of clarity is like maybe we're not super clear, right? Like maybe right now there's not a whole lot of clarity on how do we do this? Like we know what the foundational basis is. We know like connecting, we know sharing, but how do we do this? Since we're already in chat, let's do this exercise. I just did on Thursday. This is an exercise I did through the Six Figure Systems with Rebecca Folks, who's a brilliant social media girl. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Instagram or Facebook, wherever you post the most. I went to Instagram just because it was easier. I do posting on both exactly the same. So it was just easier for me to go to Instagram. What I want you to do is screenshot your 10 most recent posts or reels. The majority of the screenshot needs to be your caption and maybe a tiny bit of your picture. So screenshot 10 of those. And then you're going to put it into the chat, into your chat. Get those started. And then I'm going to put in here in the chat what your chat prompt needs to be. Okay. So give me a second. Let me pull that out. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I think we need to. Okay. You guys go. Sarah, do it on this one. Do it on the same one because we're talking about clarity. So keep it on this same chat. I think that's fine.
Casey, we're just screenshotting like your 10 recent posts on Instagram or Facebook, whichever one you use. And then Emily's going to put a prompt in that we can put in Chat GPT. And I think what it's going to do is come up with like your interested, like kind of your pillars, I guess you could say, like you're interested, like kind of what you could post about or what interests you.
Okay, so I put in the chat what your prompt is. You're basically doing a social media audit based off of those 10 um, post or reels that you have just recently done. This is all about your clarity, trust, connection, and conversion on your social media. And I'm going to tell you, I got really bad scores on at least two of them. So don't see this and be like, oh man, I'm the worst. Let this be a really great lead for you as you're figuring out how to do this well. Okay, I know you guys are probably still reading through them, but it has been 45 minutes. So I want to respect everyone's time. Go back and finish reading through this later, but I'm curious in the chat, put what your, well, no, no, no. What were your highest, unmute yourself really quick. What were your highest scores and what were your lowest scores out of those four categories? Remember, it was clarity, trust, connection, and conversion. Sarah, I'm gonna have you go first because you're smiling like you know something.
I was just laughing a whole lot about what it was sharing with me. Like as I'm reading, I'm dying because it's funny. Somebody's like spot on. So my highest were trust and connection, and then my lowest were clarity and conversation. So that was what it was for me.
Same for me. Kim, you're shaking your head. Is that how it was for you too?
Yeah, my highest were connection and trust, and clarity was lower, and conversion was the very lowest. So,
Same. Who else? Carly, you were the same. Brooke, what was yours?
Mine gave me a 9 at connection and 8.5 for trust. And then lowest was conversion at 4 and clarity at 5. And I believe that's true, just kind of looking through the posts lately. People like to see the silly, funny things that I'm doing, but they don't really know why. Like what I'm, what, what I help people to do. And so that's where the shift needs to happen.
Well, and when I did this on Thursday, I read on Thursday and I haven't gone back to read this final print here tonight, but it said something like, "Hey," because mine was the same. Like my conversion was the lowest. It was like 3.5 and my clarity was like 4.5, like super low. And it just said, hey, like you've got the trust and the connection, which that's the most important thing. People want to be around people they trust and connect with and relate to. Like that's really important. So now just bringing in this clarity and that conversion, it's not gonna be hard. It's you just got to be focused on it. So I want to just leave with this question. Let's brainstorm with this question and then we'll jump off. But the question is, how do we help people clearly understand what we do without becoming more noise? So I don't know the answer to that. I would love for us to brainstorm. How do we help people clearly understand what we do as we're caring for them, as we're investing in them, without becoming more noise? Oh, good, Casey. I'm so glad. As our brains are spinning, as we all are seeing, okay, we're not super clear. We don't have a great way for somebody to say, like, hey, I know like what to do with this information.
I don't know that this is exactly answering your question, but like something that I have thought about doing a while back and then got away from. But I think it would be really good for me to do in stories like a day in the life, maybe every 2 weeks. I know that sounds a lot, but people miss, like, they don't see you every day on stories. You know what I mean? I know I don't see people I even really like to follow every day. So I think that would be kind of a fun way to just sprinkle in, like, oh, I'm doing, this or that, and presenting it in a not super intense way, if that makes sense. I can tend to be intense sometimes, but I could find a way to totally do that. And then showing all my mom activities in between all the things. So it makes it feel very approachable.
Do you have a good amount of views in your stories?
I feel like I do. For me, I feel like it's kind of hard because for everybody that's
Yeah,
different.
totally.
But I do feel like, especially if I will get on and talk,
Okay.
I have way better views than if I'm just sharing something.
Yeah.
or if what I am posting, it can be even like a, what do they call it? Like a stagnant photo, like just a picture of something in my day or one of my kiddos, but it's not a reshare of some kind.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
original,
Yeah.
that helps a lot too. And then I've also found like taking one day off of stories and then popping
Yeah.
back in seems to help too. And that's healthy for
Yep.
my mental
Totally.
self.
Totally, to not always be on. The only reason I asked was because I read a book by that girl. Oh, I always get her name and Jordan's handle wrong, but it's like the No Shame in My Network Marketing Game or whatever her name is. She's very foul, so I'm not promoting her at all, but she is a strong social media girl. And one of the things that she said, and this is the only reason I asked you that, was because she said that she was like in her stories all the time. And then finally one day was like, if it's worth like me putting in my stories, I should put it in my feed. Like I should put it on my thing. And I remember, sorry, sitting on the toilet in January and I was about to put this silly little thing on my stories of Chris at the zoo wearing a matching outfit with these other people. And I was about to put it in my stories, but then I remembered what she said and I was like, oh, I'll just throw it onto a reel really quick. It took me 5 seconds and it has 1.4 million views and it got me 100 new leads or 100 new followers. And it was simply by just putting it on reels versus um, on a story. So keep that in mind too. Maybe not, and I'm not saying that to you necessarily about the day in the life, but like if you've got these brilliant ideas, like put them in a reel too.
Well, and I think if people need like if they want to see how that's modeled, I will say Joanna does Miller does an amazing job. And from her, I got, and I could always be better about it. But like if I post a testimony, then just take that same testimony. And I hadn't thought to make it into a reel, which is genius. I'm not as fluent in reels, but I will take pieces of just use the same picture, take pieces of the text and share it in my stories because I do know I have different watchers in my stories than in my feed. And so if it's not that much more work to take whatever I'm planning and move it over to my stories when I'm on my game.
That's great. Okay, the question again. How do we help people clearly understand what we do without becoming more noise?
So in my chat thing, it talked about just changing your wording a little bit. They're like, you've got the connection, you've got the trust. For them to just know what you do, change some of the wording. So make it to where you're asking questions or that it's obvious that the reason you do what you do is for this to be a a possibility. And they said it's not a big shift. You don't need to like basically throw up plexus on your timeline. You just need to change some wording to point people to the fact you're building, to the fact that you have goals that you're working towards so that you can do more things with your boys like this. And so I thought that was really great because it's not a big shift. It's a small shift. It's a wording shift. I thought that was really helpful.
I have to laugh at my connection. I also couldn't, I could only do like a couple photos. So I did them a couple of times. I don't know. Maybe that's my chat. Maybe I haven't used it today. I don't know why. Anyway, out of the things it could see, my connection was 10 out of 10. And I have to laugh at that because in the last exercise we did, I think when I was saying like what my strengths are, I had said like I'm very business minded, but I feel like that's sometimes a negative to me because I forget to be human. Like I'm so focused on just just let me share my cart with you already or what whatever, like why aren't you ordering yet, and so I find it funny that it says my connection is 10 because I do feel like that's something that I like and I've improved a lot on it, but I feel like I've had to be very intentional and work on that a lot since I started. I don't know.
Well, you're doing better than the rest of us. You thought you were doing bad, and then you actually are doing a 10 out of 10. So we need to take some advice from you. Um, Well, I think for me, I think I was convicted of the clarity and the conversion, and I knew for sure it was going to be that because if I'm totally honest, I unfollow people who always post about plexus because I don't want to see all plexus. Like, I want to see more variety. I don't want just plexus all the time. And so I think in my head, I'm thinking that of like people are going to unfollow me because I'm talking about plexus. But I will say, one, I think because we have earned the credibility, the trust, the connection, I think that it is okay. I think it's really important for us to be sharing about this because people do trust us. And this book right here, the 10x is easier than 2x, it talks about like, what is your goal and just dive into that. And so if that is like us becoming more clear in what we're doing and having a natural move towards like, okay, after this post, this person knows they're either going to save, they're going to share it, they're going to send me a private message or make a comment or whatever. Like if my focus right now is on growing that on my social media, then that's got to be my focus. And I need to be okay with maybe some fallout. I need to be okay if some people drop out. And that's that 10x thing of like it's worth risks. Like it is worth taking some risks because you're going to be fully focused on what you're doing. So I'm going to get over my fears and my insecurities and trust that I have built that connection and um that trust amongst my people and remember what I'm doing helps people. Just like all of y'all's first chat response was talking about how like you are investing in people, you're caring for people. Like that's what we're doing with these products. And so I think trusting myself and trusting what I'm doing, I need to like notch that up a little bit. All right. Lacey or Carly, I'm gonna read real quick what she said. She thought this was a good perspective that chat gave her. Oh, another thing she did say was people cannot take an action you haven't invited them to take, which is so good. So good. We think we might be being clear, but really we're not. And then she said, this is a good perspective that chat gave. You need to give adventure meaning instead of 4 mile hike with the family. You can make it. This is why I care so much about having energy. So like what you were saying, Sarah, instead of family trip to Stanley, you can make it, I don't want wellness to be something I do instead of living. I want it to help me live more. Um, yeah, I know, Casey, isn't that great? Like, of course, like this team is full of trust and connection and care. Of course. Look at the caliber of you guys. I'm so thankful. So, I hope that this was helpful. The prompts are in our team thread in Goal Diggers. Be asking yourself, how can I clearly show people what I'm doing from my heart? Asking yourself, how can I add clarity to my social media so no one wonders what I do? And then just go back to those foundational basics. Like you're connecting with people, you're sharing about what you love, you're growing in your belief, and you're growing in your personal development. Carly, thank you for saying that. I hope this is helpful. And if you guys would like, I don't ever want to waste your time, but I want to link arms with you all. And so if this is helpful, doing stuff like this next week where we're still like brainstorming and chatting and figuring out like how we can move forward, because I still don't feel like we're at a place where we're like, okay, this is how we do it. I feel like we kind of like scratched the surface. So if you guys would like to join me next week, I would love to continue this conversation. Okay, great. Thank you guys. Thank you for encouraging me in that way. I really, really want to make sure you guys know that you are cared for and we do love you and we're in this together and we're going to grow. We're going to have the jewels arising and I can't wait for it. Shayla, thank you so much for being on. Kim, whatever happened with your plans, I'm glad that you were able to be here. And you guys, I don't know if you saw the news that Kim is about to be a grandmama. Did you guys see the news? Isn't that amazing?
She's due in February.
Yay,
Oh,
that's exciting.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you and Randy. You guys are
Thank
gonna be the
you.
best. Jenna, she's gonna be the best aunt.
Yeah,
Swear.
she will be. It'll be fun.
Okay, love you guys. Utilize our thread. If there's something that you've read, the things that were helpful for you that you guys are sharing here in the chat, please share them in Goal Diggers. Let's do this together so we don't feel alone. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for being on. Bye, everyone.